Follower submission here. If this is your story, OP, if you're in chat and want to raise your hand, feel free. This one is, am I the astronaut for not paying my former mother-in-law her rent? I, 30 female, live with my former mother-in-law and have my kids and boyfriend, 32 male, here as well. I moved in 2 years ago under the verbal agreement I would cover half the bills to save money during my pregnancy and finishing school. When I got here, I paid for a full year of AAA and gave her money for the bills that I didn't even contribute to. I started showing my gratitude for the chance by making meals and cleaning up since she worked. A few weeks later, she switched it up and wanted me to give her $400 a month, which I didn't argue but was irked about. That same month, she stopped buying groceries and dog food for her dog since I had been okayed to get one too. So I started paying $650 a month to feed myself, my son, and boyfriend as well as her. This turned into $850 when prices for food went up and she moved her mother in who was diagnosed with dementia. I continued to clean, do dishes, and started retrieving water from the city to fill the storage tanks following the failure of the well. I cooked every night, not for just my family, but for her and her mother. And if I didn't, I would get pressured or manipulated into doing so. Mind you, this still continues to this day. I had my youngest in November of 21 and graduated in September of 22. I have paid $400 a month consistently, even though I don't have a legal change on the signed lease we had when we first moved in. I started a great new job earlier this year. She makes side comments of how she thinks it's funny with her overtime. She makes as much as I do when I went to college. I don't make overtime. My position doesn't grant me the chance for overtime. Then turns around and says that she has no money, is broke and poor. But she's making over $6,000 every month after taxes with my rent and her mom's Social Security added into her income. She says she's constantly tired. She's working 50 to 60 hours a week. I work 40, but I drive 1.25 hours one way for my commute 5 days a week. So I equate to the same time for my job that she does if you include my commute. She still expects me to buy $850 in groceries to feed her and her mom as well as cook them. I recently stopped buying that much food and instead enough only to feed my family. She still uses my groceries over the ones she does buy if she gets actual food. I have a thing against tube meat, chicken thighs, and Walmart brand bread. Tube meat? Are we just going to leave that one alone? You should probably leave that one alone, huh? Okay, I'll leave it alone. I buy the packages of meat that you can ensure look fresh and have less fat percentages. I also prefer chicken breast and artisan breads for the texture. I don't care about noodles or sauces, canned goods, or if yogurt is great value. I do have some small food preferences, hence my choices in the purchasing for them. If I don't have a meal planned, I get manipulated or guilted into cooking for everyone. If I don't, she uses my items to cook for everyone, leaving hers because she knows I won't use it. She has complained about us since the day we moved in, saying I wasn't doing enough, helping enough, or providing for the household. Mind you, I cooked, cleaned, did the dishes, hauled water, and have cut the lawn with a push mower, all until I started working. We live on almost 3 acres. 3 acres with the push mower. This is like my childhood right there. That would take some time. That's like a full day. She loudly complains to my ex-husband, her son, her boyfriend, and others about how I and my boyfriend don't do anything. And if she wants it done right, she has to do it. So I stopped doing everything altogether to get her to realize what we have been doing for years. Now, at least for me, she is being honest since I refuse to actually do anything. The last month there was a blow up over bills and my boyfriend, children, and I being the reason her bills quadrupled. Her mom leaves lights on 24/7 and sleeps with the TV on. We are out of the house for 9 to 10 hours a day. My oldest goes to school, youngest to daycare, boyfriend to college, and I to work. It doesn't make sense to me to blame us when they are home and watching TV, using computers, running lights, fans, and other items like the microwave, washer, or dryer while we are gone. It turned into a screaming match with my boyfriend confronting her over the lease and overpayment on rent for the last 2 years. She refused to listen and talk about it. She refused to address the food situation, and she refused to address other concerns we have had as well. So to regain some of my overpayment and money spent on food, we followed through with what we said in the fight. We wouldn't pay rent. And now I'm getting hounded from her son and getting snippets of her complaining and threatening to kick us out in a few months. Honestly, we've been looking for a house for months to get out, and I think we finally have one. I feel like I'm justified, but also feel guilty and like an asshole, but I'm done with her mind games and bullcrap. I'm wanting her to feel the hurt that I've been feeling since we've been there.
Woo!
That's intense. You know, I would honestly talk to a lawyer, because if you had a signed lease in the very beginning of this, like you said, I would talk to a lawyer about everything that has happened here, what you've been expected to pay for. But whatever the initial lease said is probably what you would have to revert to. If you did something in addition to what was on that signed lease, you may not get credit back for that unless you can prove that it was demanded of you to allow you to still be there. But man, I have so many questions. So this is your ex-husband's mom's house that you live in with your now boyfriend and kids. So that dynamic seems very tricky right off the rip. That seems like a very tough situation to try to keep the peace in. And honestly, it sounds like she was pulling all the shit just to try to get you to move out. She was probably too big of a coward to say, I want you to move out, and instead just decided to make your life hell. And you played ball for a long time until now. So she got her way for a long time. Now, will she be able to survive in this home without you there? Is she going to be able to, between her job and like you said, with mom's social security, she's making about $6,000 a month. So she can probably pull it off, but maybe not. And maybe if she needs you there to be able to survive, then I would expect her to be a little more amenable about things. And maybe that needs to be a discussion. Like, if you need us here to be able to afford being here, then stop treating us like shit and we'll stay. But man, staying in this place just seems like it would be hell. I'm sorry that you're dealing with this. It seems like a tough thing from beginning to end. This is a tough situation. Mother-in-law has taken advantage of her. And I don't know if that's the end of it, just that she took advantage of her, or if she was doing all of this to try to force her out. Not sure where this is coming from. I think this is where it becomes a legal conversation, at least consulting with a lawyer to say, here's what's going on. And in a lot of cases like this, this could be a letter gets sent and that's the end of it. Or it could be something that ends up leading to more legal actions. But I would definitely want to know what my legal options were before I started doing things like refusing to pay rent. Because whatever your initial lease says is probably what you have to keep doing. Nothing in addition to that, but you probably have to keep doing what was on there. This situation sounds just super complicated and uncomfortable for everyone from beginning to end, but I think in your position, I would definitely want to talk to a lawyer here. The question of, am I the asshole for not paying my former mother-in-law her rent? I don't feel like I can answer that question. I feel like that has to be a legal conversation.